Welcome back to the channel. We got the car in the garage here from our dyno day. Somehow, the guts are not sitting out on the floor. It laid down almost 500 wheel horsepower, 495, let's be exact with it.
Run out of fuel though.
Running out of fuel, yeah. So we have a few things to work on from that dyno day. We have the fuel. We think we want to 3D print some large velocity stacks. We saw a lot of comments about that. We think that's a good one. Once we get those two things dialed out, we'll take it back to the dyno, see what it does, and then start digging deeper if we have to.
700.
But we don't want to tackle those things just yet. We're probably going to turn down the rev limiter and just enjoy the car. We want to take it to car shows, go to the track maybe, just break it in a little more, have some fun with it.
Show you guys the car, right?
Yeah,
people see it finally.
Yes, people could see it. So we don't want to show it like this. We want to get it finished, except that windshield will always stay broken. No, we're going to finish
Trigger
it.
warning.
We got a new windshield. We've had it for months. But even before we finish that stuff, there is one feature that we don't have yet.
Waste of time, let's be
we
honest.
must have.
It's a waste of time.
This is a 2017 Lincoln Continental. We're going to do AC. For those of you who've been following along, and for those that haven't, you really need to smash that subscribe button so you don't miss any videos. We've always been package protecting for an AC. So we've put in our new compressor down here. We got to feed lines to that. We got a new condenser in the front. We're going to have to route that in. And we have to route a whole bunch of lines to go to the inside of the car, which will tie into this guy. This monstrosity houses everything we need to get the HVAC to work on the inside. We got a blower down here. You got your evaporator. You got your heater core. These originally came out through the firewall and plugged into all the engine side that you need. And this was under the dash. Our problem is our firewall was here and now it's probably right about here. So somehow we got to get most of this to fit in. All the key points we need to at least have AC when you put your hand on the vent and you go, ah. So the first step is going to be stripping down this box because there's a lot of pieces here, like things clipped together, screwed together, actuators, valves, flippers, filters. We don't need a lot of that, so we're going to really condense this down. So let's get this stripped apart.
Not only are we running AC, we're also going to put in heat. To do that, we need a working blend door to control hot and cold airflow. To test this, we removed the blend door motor from the box and connected it to the car without any of the sensors that the stock unit has. Using the stock center console controls, we adjusted the temperature and it worked perfectly. So that's great news. We'll be able to control the temperature after modifying the box to fit. Time to deep dive into this box and take it completely apart. There are so many screws holding each and every component together, but thankfully they all use the same bit, so believe it or not, you can take this entire box apart with a Phillips head screwdriver. Ugh, this cabin air filter definitely needed a replacement, so that's going in the bin. We then moved on to the center of the box, which houses the heater core and the evaporator. With both those out of the way, we can split the rest of the box apart and see all the complicated doors and channels that route air to the vents in the dash.
So many like levers and arms. This is where all the magic happens. This is the box all stripped down, split apart, and you can actually see how the channels work. So if you remember, the blower motor was out at a separate area over here. It's blowing all the air through the evaporator here. Once the air passes through the evaporator, the blend door will decide if you have it down here, cool air will come out, or if it moves to the top, it'll get diverted into your heater core, and then hot air can come out and go to the different areas that it needs to go. When it's in cool mode, it doesn't go through there. Your condenser, your evaporator gets cold when you turn on the compressor, and it could blow through, same passages, go everywhere it needs to go. We're going to be able to try to trim down most of this and see what we can get to fit into the car. So we'll have to pull that dash out and see what we can fit. But before we do that, let's take a look at how the AC system works. There's 4 main components, so let's take a look at that. The AC system in your car is made up of 4 main components: the compressor, the condenser, the thermal expansion valve or TXV, and the evaporator. These components use the refrigerant to transfer heat from the interior of your car to the outside. The compressor is run off the accessory belt on your engine, and it uses a magnetic clutch to engage and drive the compressor. The compressor sucks in low-pressure gas refrigerant on the low side, compresses it, and in the process heats it up. This compressed gas refrigerant is then sent to the condenser on the high side to be cooled and condensed into a liquid. In the condenser, the high-pressure gas is fed through internal tubes and cooled via outside air from the radiator fans. This reduces the gas refrigerant temperature and enables it to change state from a gas into a liquid, or condense. Most AC systems use a dryer after the condenser. These dryers contain desiccant to absorb moisture from the system. The liquid from the condenser then flows to the TXV, which reduces its pressure and temperature by restricting the flow through a small orifice. Some systems use what is called an orifice tube instead, but it serves the same function. This process transformed the high-pressure liquid into a low-pressure, cool refrigerant mist, allowing it to absorb heat as it passes through the evaporator. The final component is the evaporator, located inside the vehicle. Like the condenser, it contains internal tubes that carry the cooled liquid refrigerant. As warm air passes over the evaporator's fins, the refrigerant absorbs the heat, causing the refrigerant to evaporate and the air to cool. The refrigerant is now a low-pressure gas, which then gets sucked back into the compressor to begin the cycle all over again. Dude, all these ducts have like temperature sensors in here. If we get rid of these, how are we gonna know if it's gonna throw codes or have some problems?
I have no clue how we would troubleshoot that, but I do know how I would troubleshoot my car if it was throwing codes, and that's using today's video sponsor, Carly.
This is Carly's OBD2 scanner. This thing uses cutting-edge technology to bring me and you manufacturer-level diagnostics, coding customization, and access to hidden features inside of your car. Whether you're troubleshooting vehicle issues, buying a used car, or just want to unlock exciting new features, Carly is dedicated to ensuring you guys get the most out of your car. This is my 2016 Volkswagen GTI. It's my daily/winter car. I do nothing to it but put gas in it and change the oil. In fact, it hasn't even reached 50,000 miles yet, so let's plug this thing in and see if it's hiding any surprises. You simply take your scanner and you plug it into the OBD2 port. You open the Carly app on your phone and simply connect to your vehicle. So once you're connected, you can see you have diagnostics, coding, maintenance, and a bunch of other features that you can use to troubleshoot your car. So let's click on diagnostics and see what my car's got to show. All right, let's see the results. Oh my God.
Oh, dude.
Very bad. That's the health status of my car. All right, let's see. It's got 15 engine issues, throttle precision correlation, idle control system, heater support pump. All right, now that we know the car is in very bad health status, we have 2 options. I can either junk this thing or just clear the codes and see if they come back. I'm gonna go with option 2. Carly has a free version of their app that comes with the scanner. With the free version, you can get access to OBD level diagnostics and parameters. So it will show you all the issues your car has, and it's a great way to test what Carly can do with your car's computer. You can also upgrade to their premium package to unlock features like coding and manufacturer level diagnostics. Let's see what kind of coding we can do to this 2016 GTI. Lap timer off, what is that? Enable lap timer menu. I can use lap timer, let's see if that works. Turn it on. Please turn the ignition off and on again. Okay, let's do that. The lap timer is on. Where do I see that? Navigation, audio, telephone, vehicle status. Oh, lap timer. Oh,
Was that not there before?
No, I have a lap timer now. That's pretty cool. I can change the start logo on the cluster. Man, it's gonna take a while to go through all of these, but that's really cool. If you're anything like us, you like to save a couple of bucks and tackle stuff yourself. So tools like Carly's Health Report make your life much easier and help you make informed decisions and save money. If you guys want to check Carly out, make sure you click the link in the description and use the code BUILT15 and get 15% off your Carly order. Now it's getting hot today, so let's get back to work and get that AC working in the Continental.
So we removed these two pieces, cut it off of this half of the box. Here's the other half, so we could put this together and you can see exactly where we remove stuff. So those two pieces go together, so you can see we removed this whole lower section that feeds air back to the back seats, and this whole upper area that diverts air between defrost and vent and floor and all that. So we've really condensed it down quite a bit to just the essentials. So now we're going to go ahead and cut up this side and start seeing if we can get it to fit in the car.
There's something oddly satisfying about taking an air saw and just hacking into things. And it may look like a bit of a hot mess right now, but trust us, there are very calculated cuts we're doing here.
Got our dual zone climate controls.
Now that the box is all cut up, we once again get to do our most favorite job, removing the dash from the car, so we can test fit the modified box in the crosscar beam. We lift all the stock ducting attached to the frame, and as you can see, we are about 4 inches from where we want to be. For this to work, we need the box to sit flush with the dash panel, so we have a long way to go. Fortunately, there are a few things we can remove and cut away to shoehorn this box as far into the crosscar beam as possible.
So the box is sitting in there. It's looking tight. We got the heater core here. We had to cut out a metal cross member there to move over the whole box to the passenger side more. That way we can clear these lines. So now it's kind of skewed over, but it seems to be tucking in far enough. We're probably gonna strip down the dash again to just the cross member or the cross car beam. That way we can have eyes on everything that's going on and then get it fit back into the car and start deciding where we're going to cut out to pass through coolant and AC lines. We might have to compromise on the glove box, yeah, for the blower motor, but we'll have to see once we get that in there because she's really
Write a
sunk
comment
in
below, what would you prefer? A functioning glove box or AC?
Yeah. You let us know, which one do you use in your car more?
Save you guys having to watch us test fit this back in the car, I'll give you a quick summary. It didn't fit at all. So we took it back out and this time whipped out the big reciprocating saw to start cutting more of the box off. This process was very much cut, test fit, until the front of the box was tucked in far enough to fit within the firewall.
All right, so we got everything mounted up in here. We had to cut way more out than we thought we were going to have to. So now we got the two ducts coming in here. This is skewed off to one side of the vehicle. We had to do that because we had to pull this thing way back in here, and now this clearance for this blend door and the heater core are required us to shift it over. But we got the frame bolted up to the car. Now this package is in here, the blower motor's over here. It's basically going to be in the glove box.
Let's say goodbye to our glove box.
That's
Where are we going to
alright.
put the
I don't
owner's
even
manual?
have gloves.
Where we're going to... Before removing the box from the car, we marked where the evaporator lines exit the dash, and they lined up right on top of the beads on the firewall, and on the other side is pretty much right behind the valve cover, which leaves very little room to fit a TXV. So this is where that mark on the dash aligns. We're going to try and move it here, get it away from the bead, get it away from the head, and hopefully that'll make things a little easier to fit. The challenge is going to be now we have to basically get lines. We got to cut this off, move this here, and then connect the lines inside of this box. We started off by chopping off the flange, leaving about an inch of pipe sticking out of it so we can solder our new pipes to it. We chose a new spot to mount it to on the box and started bending on new lines to connect it back to the evaporator. Bending the aluminum pipe turned out to be a bit more challenging than we expected, but after a few tries, we got the hang of it and got the first pipe knocked out. Definitely not the prettiest, but it'll do the job. Now on to the second one. The second line needed a tight initial bend, too tight for our pipe bender. So we packed the end with sand to minimize kinks, heated the aluminum, and bent it by hand around the broomstick. Again, not the prettiest, but we got the tight radius we needed, so that's good enough for us. For the second and last bend, we were able to use the actual tool for the job, so this one turned out much nicer than the first. Because this line was the same diameter as the stock lines, it needed to be modified to fit over the pipe on the flange so we could solder it. This meant using a special bit to swage the end of the pipe. You simply take a little bit of oil to lubricate the bit, then slowly work it into the pipe as it expands or swage the end of the pipe to the size you need. We had to do this on both ends of the pipe. Then, as you can see, the flange fits perfectly and we can finally test fit everything back in the box before joining everything together for good.
Now we're on to the next big thing, which is the part we've been dreading because we couldn't figure it out before, but we have to braze or solder all these joints we cut up and swaged. We have this aluminum brazing rod that we just got. Seems like this did the trick, the smaller diameter and the good brand.
Test piece? Or
yeah, we just tested a piece and it worked out. First time.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Swaged it, cleaned it with a stainless steel brush. Only use stainless steel on aluminum. Washed it with soap and water. Put it together. And then we use propane too. Don't heat it up. Just heat it. We'll show the process.
Yeah, we'll show the process.
Heat it up enough till the thing,
the solder melts.
Yeah, the solder just melts and
it sucks it right up. So now we just got to do all that a couple of times. We're going to remove the box from the car so we can put this in the box, make sure mark the alignment of these tubes, and that should take care of the AC part on the inside of the vehicle.
Now that the evaporator lines are all done, we can put the box back together, install it back in the car, and mark the final position of the flange and TXV so we can cut out the hole and start routing the lines on the other side of the dash. The Conti is finally on the road and dynoed, and since we dropped those 2 videos, the channel has almost doubled in size. How wild is that? We seriously can't thank you guys enough. So to celebrate, we're going big. We're doing a $1,000 Icon tool giveaway. We've put together a killer set of Icon hand tools, everything you'll ever need. You have all the ratchet sizes, all the sockets you'll need. We have adapters, we have some pliers here, we have the screwdriver set, and because we're not messing around here, we're even throwing a flex head ratchet set of wrenches. This thing alone is $200. I don't know how, but this right here is $200. And we all know this wouldn't be a complete Icon set without your gold ratchets. That's right, you're not just getting one gold ratchet, you're getting both of them. That means 5 ratchets with this whole set. That's not all. It's been a minute since we dropped some new merch, like this DIY OG shirt design. So we have 2 fresh new designs that we're dropping alongside this giveaway. First up is this Haynes manual inspired Conti cutaway shirt. This shows off every mod we've made to the Continental to make it a rear-wheel drive, 6-speed manual V10-Swapped monster it is today. This thing is clean. I really like this design. And let's be honest, you probably have an old Haynes manual somewhere in your garage collecting dust. So now you gotta get the shirt to match it. Next up, remember this moment? I'm gonna wait till no cars are coming.
Did you put insurance on it?
A Mexican insurance, yes. So many of you loved it, and we thought we'd have some fun with it, and we put it on a t-shirt. So this is our I Have Mexican Insurance shirt. This even comes with your very own proof of insurance card. So next time you're racing down the streets of Mexico and you get asked for proof of insurance, just point to your shirt, boom, you're covered. Kind of. So here's how the giveaway is gonna work. Go visit shopdiy.com, that's our merch site. You can get yourself any one of these new designs. You can get a shirt, sweatshirt, hoodie, even all the OG designs we have on the website. Go check all those out. Or you can even get yourself keychains. We have jet tags, we have stickers. This is the OG 40 valve V10 sticker. We're even coming up with the new Lincoln V10 sticker, so get yourself that on the website as well. You can get anything from the website. In 14 days from the drop of this video, we're going to be drawing a random order to ship all those beautiful boxes to you. So go check out shopdiy.com, get yourself anything from the website, and get yourself a chance to win a sick set of Icon tools.
All right, we got the box mounted back in the car for the 100th time. TXV is sitting nice and pretty on the dash. Now we're gonna go ahead and start running some lines from the TXV to the compressor, condenser, etc. We have the stock Continental lines here. We're going to be using part of it. Most of it is trash, but we're saving a little bit after the TXV adapter here. Maybe we're gonna cut it in this area so we can bolt it up to the TXV, get it out of the way, and we're gonna run lines along this cross member here to the front. We have some aluminum coils, and Jack's been 3D printing some dies so we can bend all the lines. But we're gonna go ahead and cut this in, bolt it up to the TXV, and then start figuring out how we're gonna route some of the lines here.
We got these cut off the original one, so now this goes right here.
Well, that's very close to the head.
Yeah. We might maybe want to cut here and just...
Yeah, go the other way. All right, the first line we're gonna run is this small top line. We have to go from the TXV all the way to the bottom of that condenser. The condenser's not in there right now because we realized yesterday that the fittings don't fit because the condenser is bent. We're gonna make that line. We're just gonna route it. We're gonna try and basically follow the frame rail shape, come down here with a 90, and then join it back in the front there. We have enough line here to mess up a couple times.
Which we will.
Yep.
All right, with the magic of editing, here's the
Did we even
first
record
line.
any of it?
No. We just bent our first line.
We actually got to put... Oh.
Well, now
No.
we got to get a hose to connect this to the condenser.
The sound of a 5.0. Yep.
But fits pretty well. Yeah, so that's, we're gonna have to join. This is the side that mounts to the condenser. Then we got to figure out
I mean,
something
look.
in between.
Ta-da.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
Crimp it.
But yeah, that just goes right on the dash, goes right in the TXV, and then it kind of follows the shape of the frame rail. And we ended it here, so then we'll just crimp a hose there and then feed it back to the condenser.
For the low pressure tube, we used some welding wire to get a rough shape and length, then used our 5/8 pipe straightening tool. In order to use our 1/2-inch tube bender, I 3D printed a new die made for 5/8 tubing. We weren't sure if this would work since it's made from plastic, but it was really our only option since most of the 5/8 tube benders use too large of a bend radius for what we need. Just like for the evaporator lines, we heated up the aluminum to soften it up and give this plastic die a chance. Here's a cool trick. If you mark the aluminum tube with a Sharpie, a good way to know if you've reached the right annealing temperature is when the Sharpie mark disappears with heat. Turns out, you can actually bend aluminum with plastic, and it does a decent job of not wrinkling the pipe. Success.
Oh, now we're just gonna roughly put it where it's gonna be here. And I'm just gonna mark it. We want to come down somewhere here on the frame rail. So I'm just gonna...
We have to hit the disc or the suction side on here.
Yep.
So this on the compressor.
I'm just gonna rough it here, and then so about 20, let's go 21 plus it's 25 inches from the...
This next bend was at a weird angle and needed to have a very large bend radius to follow the shape of the frame rail. So we used the larger die for support and bent it a little bit hand by hand until we got the right shape. Then the last bend again was with the 3D printed die, so we could get a nice tight bend down onto the side of the frame rail and finish it off with a soldered on beadlock fitting.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and finish up the high side. So now that we have the first line going to the firewall, we now have to connect it to this lower fitting on the condenser. We've cut up the stock Continental line here. We're gonna reuse this going into the condenser, but now we're gonna cut this off at about here where this tag is. Yep, where they're gonna weld our little fitting in there.
Solder.
Or solder, and then all we have to do is join the two, or we're going to use the crimper for the first time here.
Yeah, we haven't tried the crimper on a metal one yet.
So we just have to join. It's a very short length of hose to go from down there to where we crimp the other one in. So after that, that high side will be completely done, and then we just have to wait for a couple more fittings to finish the compressor side.
So we got our high pressure liquid line all made up. This is that one that goes to the condenser. We soldered on our ends here. You can see these are called weld-on beadlock fittings. So the beadlock is this guy. It's a weld-on, so you slip this over the pipe. You buy this number 6 through number 14, whatever size you need. And then this is a SRB, standard reduced barrier hose, which is, you can get different, there's a different type of hose. There's a standard hose, which is slightly bigger in diameter, and reduced barrier, which is skinnier. So that's what we got here. We just soldered that on.
Yeah, and this says is weld on, but you actually solder it.
Yeah, I don't know why they call it weld, solder, braze. They're all the same, I guess, but they're not. But anyway, so we got our line made up. Now we're going to crimp it. We broke out our Vever classic high quality tools. Picked this up for like $100, 100 something. And now we can crimp our own line. So we got all these dies. We selected the right one, which is number 6 SRB, what we got in here. And we just line it up and smash away. Got our nice crimped end. What is that? Oh, the heat did something.
Heat?
Yeah, you see how there's that line from...
It's just on the outside. So. This line is done.
Too easy.
All right, 1 step forward, 3 steps backward. We're getting to the point where now basically every order that we make either comes with the wrong stuff or we just order the wrong stuff entirely. That's been the story of the AC, but we have stuff that we can make progress on, so we're going to go ahead and move on to tapping or brazing the sensor and the sensors and the fill port to our low pressure line. We bought sensors. So these are these fittings here that we can just brace into the tube. We've already marked the holes.
And this will screw on. This is your high and low pressure shutoff sensors. We don't have that in our diagram anywhere, but this is just for safety.
Yeah, so we're running that on the low side, and also the high side obviously already comes with it because this is the stock Mustang line.
Brush, brush, brush. Forget to brush everything.
All right, while we wait for some extra fittings to get in, we're gonna switch to the electrical side. We still need a way.
Side.
Yeah, we still need a way to trigger the AC compressor, and we don't just want to use a aftermarket switch somewhere hidden. We actually want to use the console switches. So we're taking apart the center console controls. This goes right in the middle of the tunnel. There's an AC button that still works. You can still light it up when you press it. It just obviously doesn't go into anything. So now we're going to take this whole thing apart and see if we can tap into that signal and somehow take it back to the compressor and make it work like it did from the factory.
We got our control module all taken apart here. So we look inside. We got all these little thingies going on here. All of these white dots are LEDs, and all these like metal pieces here are all the button contacts. So you got this little rubber condom thing goes over here, and what we're trying to do here is, you can see we have the AC button here, and then there's a light on top of here that tells it when the AC button is on, and that is this guy on the board. This board actually has a big chip on it here, so the way this communicates with the car to tell that the AC is on is through CAN. So when you hit the button, it tells the PCM actually to turn the compressor on, and the PCM does all the commanding of this original compressor. So we can't just take some wire pin out from here when this button comes on that tells the PCM, because it's all through CAN. So we got to be a little more creative. We don't know how to interpret CAN or LIN or any bus data. We're going to go very simple, very dumb, very
Foolproof.
foolproof. Okay, we'll use that one. So what happens when you click this button is actually this light comes on that tells it that the AC is on, and it still works. You hit the button, the light comes on even though the PCM is not in there. So this light is basically now acting like the switch. Click on, click off. So what we're going to do is directly read that light. And the way we're going to do that, it was with this little circuit here. So this is a photo sensor. So this photo sensor tells this relay when it sees light. So we're going to put this guy really close up here, and hopefully when you click this button and this LED comes on, it'll sense that it's on and tell the relay to close contactors, and then it'll turn on the AC switch. All right, so you can see now we got the module plugged in. We got the lights here to illuminate the buttons at the top. Once we key it on, all the other lights will come on, like the car is on. There we go. So now, like we said, this is the light that says the AC is on. So we put our photo sensor near the LED here,
Which is off.
which is off right now. So right now we have the green and the red light on. Once we turn on AC, which you could do through that or through here, you're going to see this turns yellow. And now,
LED's off.
so now the photo sensor is picking up when that's on and off and telling the compressor basically to come on and off. So now we'll have full function. You can click this button too, turn it on, off, or that's on, off,
It's kind of weird. The
On.
light's on when this is off.
yeah.
Backwards, but it works.
So
That's how you make the stock switch work.
it's
Without
one
the
way to
PCM.
do it.
In order to fit the photo sensor next to the LED, we have to grind some material away from the button panel, right next to the AC LED. We then cut a section off the rubber condom, as Jack calls it, so that it could sit over the sensor and sit flush with the circuit board. The back cover also required a bit of trimming, so we used a small drill bit to cut a slot on the side of the panel and route the wire from the sensor outside of the module. We then closed it all up, and using Jack's detailed wiring diagram, we routed wires from the inside of the vehicle to the switches out in the engine bay before hooking everything up and testing whether the sensor and relay worked with the sensor inside of the module. Oh, I heard it click. And there it is. So this little LED was on before, now it's off.
Well, here, I'll turn it off.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just watching the light here and telling it to come on.
And of course, got the fans blowing. Super strong.
Jesus Christ, dude.
And I don't know if we showed this, but so we kept the motors in for the dual climate zone. I'm gonna go with all the way heat. There we go. Going up.
Yeah, because we still have heat and AC, so we
Boom.
have blend
There we go.
doors.
So these are all the way closed.
Oh wait, but I want cold. I don't like heat. Oh yes, there we go.
So we're gonna adjust both individually, which is very, very cool.
Oh, it's too cold, too chilly.
And they still work like they did from the factory.
We're finally getting to the AC compressor fittings. So we've been waiting on these guys for a while. We've had some issues with them, but this is the solution we're going with. they've got these two separate pieces and then a piece that holds it down, and this allows these to rotate around so we can index them how we want. So we got our dirty old compressor here, so these kind of fit in like this, and then this will come down, and then we can spin these around where we want. So this is the suction side, this is the discharge side, so we'll have probably this pointing down and this pointing up. This kit is not made for this compressor, so this has a ring here that goes and fits in with the compressor here, and it indexes it and allows it to spin without it coming out. Now when we look at the discharge side, it's smaller, so this doesn't fit in. So we wouldn't have been able to use that. But what we're going to do is we cut away this indexing circle here, and we're going to press in this smaller diameter pipe and just shove it in there, because this will fit an index on that well. So once we do that, that'll sit in there. This will get set on, and that'll have that locating. And all of this seals with an O-ring with this on here. We'll have those pointed up, bolt this down, bada bing, bada boom, we're done. We could run our lines in. So these just use normal AC O-ring fittings. So we're gonna set this up where we need it to go. Finish up our line. I think we could finish the discharge side, but we're still waiting on some parts for the suction side. So this is gonna have to probably be the last thing we do.
We use the vise to press in the piece of tubing into the fitting. And now you can see it fits and is indexed onto the compressor like it's supposed to. Now we can bolt this up to the compressor and start figuring out the rest of the routing for the suction and discharge lines. For the discharge line, we actually bought an S550 Mustang line. This bolts right up to the condenser and has enough hose length for us to cut the end off and crimp onto our own fitting on the compressor.
There it is. Line.
Discharge line, we're just gonna crimp this. And
Then all we have is one last fitting and we can close the whole system up.
yeah, we gotta wait for that one fitting.
So let's crimp that up and then we'll move on to the heater. All right, it's time to get the heater to work. In order to do that, we have to be able to run hoses or coolant from the engine block down into this block. The heater core sits in this housing here. And the way they do it from the factory is they actually run hard lines from the heater core through the dash. We have cut those off for two reasons. One, we don't have room where it exits on the factory because our dash is obviously further back, so this wouldn't work. And two, we have such a tight space or tight package in this area that we actually, with them cut off, we're actually able to rotate these lines and then run hoses through whatever hole we can find in there. Now, instead of running the two lines directly out from the dash, we're going to be using a bulkhead. So this bulkhead uses fittings on either side. So we're going to be running threaded 90s from the inside to the outside. One of the problems we have though is that this bulkhead obviously has two fittings together like this. It's neat, it actually looks pretty nice, but we don't have room to run them together. Ideally, we would have run this right behind the intake, kind of in the center of the car to resemble the stock location, but as you can see, there's just no room in there. We don't have room on the outside, and we obviously don't have room on the inside. So instead of running this together like that, we've actually separated it. We've 3D printed our plates so that we can now run a bulkhead individual, and we've actually already drilled holes on the engine side. One hole is right here on the passenger side, and this just fits right in there. We've cut the hole to have the same shape as the bulkhead so that when we put it in, it actually locks into place and we can thread it from the inside. But that's just going to sit right there. The other one is on the driver's side next to the master cylinders. So now basically all we have to do is get our hoses, which we've already crimped onto our 90 fittings. And we're just going to thread them on one side. This is going to go on the engine side. Actually grabbed the wrong side. And then the other side goes on the outside like this. And we just run the hoses, one to the heater core, one to the engine block. And we got heat. So let's finish crimping these two lines. Everything's already cut to length, and we can actually get the heater part done.
With the hoses all crimped up and the bulkheads mounted to the firewall, we reinstalled the heater core in the box and used hose clamps to secure the hoses. And don't worry, we swaged the end of the pipes to ensure the hose was tightly secured. To make installation and removal easier in the future, we're also making a thin bracket to hold the AC box to the crosscar beam. We care about the environment in this channel, so we're cutting it out of one of our old failed firewall panels. Marked a couple of bend lines, and a few hammer sessions later, we have a formed bracket that we can fit over the AC box and bolt straight to 2 unused rivet nuts on the cross cutting.
All right, so we got everything bolted up. The HVAC box is in here secure. We got the heater lines hooked up. So now we're gonna be able to start throwing everything back together on the interior. All right, we're starting now to wrap up the last line. We didn't get our fitting in down here. So we just had to make our own by taking what we had, making it work, because we're not waiting any longer for that freaking fitting to come in. So this is the low side we were waiting on. We got the hose made up. Now we just got to crimp these ends. Got a couple brackets we're going to install around here, but that'll be it for the AC, and we could suck it down.
Yeah, now we can start filling the system, and then
Oh, we got to get oil.
oil, refrigerant. All right, we're gonna get ready and start dumping. These compressors come with pre-filled oil, but we're gonna dump it. We got ourselves some PAG 46 oil with UV dye, just in case we have to check for some leaks.
Well, we got to distribute the oil around the system because everything is empty now because it's all new parts. So we got to see how much oil's in here and then take this and distribute it to the condenser, the evaporator.
This thing says it comes with 8 ounces, but
Well, that's not 8 ounces.
I know, yeah, that's why
I mean, I think you guys spin it. I don't know how you really empty a compressor, to be honest.
After a few minutes of letting the compressor drain, we can start filling it with our new oil. Being very careful to spill as little as spilled oil everywhere. Whatever. Jack then had an idea to use a syringe to transfer the rest of the oil onto the TXV to avoid making a mess there too. And well, it's the thought that counts. The rest of the oil goes into the condenser, and now we are finally ready to bolt everything back together for the first time. All right, all the lines are installed. We've tightened everything. You can see there, all the Schrader valves are back in. Compressor fittings are all done. So now it's time for the final test, a leak check.
Leak check.
Before we fill it with Freon.
We leak checked the evaporator. And
To be fair, that was the first thing we soldered.
Was that the first
That
one?
was the first thing we soldered,
yeah.
so I'll give ourselves a little break. We kind of got the hang of it after a while.
So we got the essentials. You guys, if you're going to do AC, you need a vacuum pump, 100% if you want to do it right. Then a manifold gauge to connect to the vacuum
You
pump.
can rent all of this, right?
Yeah, so these we got rented, so we don't have to pay anything for it as long as we return it. So we're going to hook these up, and we're just going to pressurize it with compressed air for now, just to make sure we don't have some big old hole somewhere. So we're going to just feed air right into this and check with some bubbly water. Ready? Alrighty. Yeah. Now we can start checking or just see how long it lasts. Maybe we leave it overnight and see if it... I don't hear anything.
I don't either.
The next day.
All right, it's the next day. It's been sitting under pressure overnight. Looks like it hasn't moved, right?
It dropped like 1 psi, maybe? Because we
I
were at
wonder
like
if it's
81,
'cause
82.
It's cooler. Because if it's cold, the pressure will go down too. But
Yeah. I mean,
so,
that's nothing.
so we're going to go ahead and take the pressure out and hook up our vacuum pump and
Start filling this thing.
suck it down. Now I'll leave this guy on for about an hour, let it get it all sucked down, boil off all the water in there, and we should be able to fill her up. Oh, there we go. Wow, that's a tight one. All right, you ready?
Let's do it. I feel it. It's getting cold.
cold?
It's getting cold.
All right, so we got a can in there. Before we start the car up, we're gonna check to see that the AC clutch kicks on, it should, and that the fuel tech commands the fans to come on. Hit it. Yeah, it's working. All right, so we got everything and we're about to fire it up. We'll fully charge it once it's running, since we don't really know what the capacity of this hodgepodge system is supposed to be. We're going to use this table based on outdoor temperature, which will tell us what the pressure on the high and low side should be. So we're target, it's about 70 degrees out here. So we're going to target about 35 to 40 on the low side and 145 to 160 on the high side. So with that information, once we start it, get the compressor cycling, we could start adding Freon, watching our high side. We can't watch the low side while that's connected.
Still as crispy as ever. It's a lot more puffy. I started right up. This is the first time we've started it since we came back
Since
from
the dyno, yeah.
Oh.
Alright, way too low. Needs more. Way too low. Alrighty, so we got it all charged up, got it started up. Go ahead, you can see now the cup, there it goes. Kicks on, low side drops, high side comes up. It's nice and cold. Cold in there?
Yeah, it's getting cold. Oh yeah, baby.
Shoo, buddy! Chopping like this and having AC, dude, that's...
In case you guys don't believe us, look at this. No air.
No, the real proof.
It's ice cold.
Let me show you how warm it is out here. We're at 82 outside, 86 in here. How's she in here? Ooh, 65.
Nice.
Oh yeah, wait, 65. Oh, she's getting colder. She's getting cooler,
60.
dude. Woo.
Yeah, this is like
59. Yeah,
it's a good temperature.
yeah, I mean, and you have it on full blast.
Yeah, it's full blast. You can adjust it.
This still works. Turn that. Oh wait. Oh, off.
Turn it off.
We gotta turn down the compensation a little bit.
I added more fuel.
Oh, did you add more fuel? Oh. AC. Oh baby, dude, this is fucking luxury. It's almost quiet in here too now.
Let's shut this down so we can actually talk to the people. Oh, this is good.
Oh, that's leaks in luxury, dude.
It's actually, oh well, the door's open in the back, so it's still not as quiet as it can be, but I mean,
AC blasting.
does this mean the interior is ready to basically get put together?
Yeah.
Minus the shifter, I guess, which
Yeah,
still
the
gotta
little
figure out.
thing, this foot rest or foot
Yeah, we
wheel.
still got a dual panel there, but
Super dark in here.
this is good. I guess AC wasn't that bad of an idea, huh?
Put that flag up for America.
It's cold. Also, if we wanna, let's turn AC off, and then we're gonna turn the heat all the way up. It's gonna get a little chilly, so let's.
Yeah, it's too cold. Oh, give me
it's a
my
little cold.
sweatshirt.
Go get your jacket.
Yeah, let me.
It's a good thing we got new merch coming in. There you go. Now, I can actually, I already feel it. It's the air. So the way we did the box, the heat doesn't actually blow in this direction very much. It goes on the back. It bounces off the
It's a
windshield.
defrost.
Yeah, it's defrost slash heat. But I'm already feeling the heat.
Yeah, it's definitely
It's definitely
getting warm.
getting hot in here.
Especially when it was fucking
Yeah.
50 degrees and now it's 150. Yeah, I can feel the heat coming.
It's
Yeah.
definitely.
What does it show on the here?
Oh yeah, there you go. I bet the windshields.
Right here is really warm.
Back here is like 90 almost. So
Okay.
we got heat, we got AC. It's cruise time, baby. It's perfect time because it's getting into the 90s.
That was too hot.
Yeah, that's a little too hot. Let's turn it.
Woo, too hot.
Yeah, it's getting hot in here. Let's open
Jesus
some doors.
Christ.
Anyways, we're gonna wrap it up for this
shopdiy.com. Get you some merch. We got a bunch of new stuff on the website. You might be the lucky winner of $1,000 worth of Icon tools. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.
Let me get that AC back on there.
Oh, all right.
Cut that part out too.
I don't keep.